Shared services is basically a delivery of administrative support functions of processes that can be delivered to a corporation from a shared delivery model. So what is now outsourcing? Outsourcing, this one is the act of contracting with a third party to perform some service. So meaning it's outside your organization, you just ask those vendor to deliver what you asked for. So from the keyword shared, it's really the key point is also sharing of accountabilities and responsibilities between the shared services organization and its customer. When it comes to shared services, one of the best practice that was mentioned there, it should have a very good service level agreement to make sure, and it's very specific, so you know what's the expectation from your organization and what you expect also from the other organization who would be providing that. Is there anything else outside the administrative support? I think it's only that. It's really the administrative support function. And it's more of us discussing what are the other things under that window, because we have discussed the financials earlier. There was also marketing as a resource. You have to be visible so people get to know and support your campaigns and your programs. And part of what's also being shared is, of course, more on the information and technology, because it's really high time for us to digitize our processes so that we are upfront, visible, and we are very much on the front line, accessible to the people we're trying to reach. And of course, is human resources, because what we don't want to happen, which is common to NGOs, is the typical turnover, which you wouldn't want. If you're the stakeholder, the decision maker, you wouldn't want people visioning as a leader that they're just there in 5 years. We know that if you establish change, we're talking about takes time, and 5 years is very short. So I think those categories are the main that's very obvious within the administrative function support and processes that's key. Any organization who dreams to scale up and grow, start now. Don't delay. The earlier, the better.
Start as soon as you start your organization. Being mindful about you need to really keep your books. And it's not only for the regulators, but again, it's your responsibility to the people that are entrusting their money to you, diba? Your donors, your beneficiaries, diba? To really account for every centavo that's coursed through the organization, diba? And I think therefore it's very important. It's to start from the very beginning.
Number one, go back to your objective in terms of involving to this type of strategy. Identify your why. Why do you want to start? And if you say you don't, why not? It's because you want to, compare your table. And the next is when you identify if you are in for it, is it something as an in-house that you would like to do as a shared service, or is it something that you would need to outsource based on unique organizational processes, needs, and requirements? And then the third one is change management. How is the readiness of your team? You as a leader, as the main, of course, trailblazer of the change. And then how would be the response? What's the profile of your team? Maybe that are they, technology app? If you would digitize as shared services, check that, because to that point, you will now know in terms of, what's the adapt approach in terms of your facing, based on the profile of your people, based on the data that's already ready. And then, of course, what's your aim for continuous improvement? Because as you do the pacing, you'll definitely, there will be a lot of, gaps that will arise. So what's your continuous improvement along the way when you identify that?
Start with finding a partner or another entity or a resource expert who shares your values. So it's really important to level up in the beginning and agree, and also know what each other's capacities and resources are, and also limitations.
Number two, assess your processes and identify where there can be synergies. Consider the type of your beneficiaries, consider your geographical location, consider the technology that's available to you. no? And then third, build your system, no? It's not A or B, it can be AB, right? So build your system together. Fourth, assign the right people, no? Ensure that you have the right people on board, no? They have the right expertise, no? And that they can do the remote setup. That you mind that there's no one model fits all. So it's best to just start with anything and then just tweak it along the way and improve it.